Ladies and gentlemen, purveyors of podcasts, friends of fitness and finery, welcome to episode number 29 of the D.M.C podcast with your hosts, Lord Adam Rigby, myself, and Count Cody Hunter. Cody, welcome to the show.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Thanks for having me, my brother.
Ka pai. Oh, everything is ka pai.
That's right, mate. That's right. There's been I forget it's Māori Language Week, bro? Got to get into it a little bit. Doing a bit on it, It's all good.
Yeah, our week. It is our week. New Zealand get behind it. The Let's Ako is great. It's introducing the language, using it, sharing it, and people will likely use it as well once they understand it. Don't get forward into thinking you need to be, you know the language 100%, as long as you know what the words mean, hey, in their context, and you say it in a way that is kind and respectful to the language and the people you were using it with, then bang, use it. Beautiful language, wonderful culture, needs to be shared and also explored way more than it is today. So kia ora, New Zealand, kia ora, the rest of the world, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Well, mate, yeah, it's how's your week been, bro? What's been happening? We haven't caught up as much with the new gig. Everything's super busy, but how have you been, mate? What's been happening?
Bro, like you, busy to the 10th degree. So busy it was kind of funny at times. You know, when you get so much work on and you get a role and the next thing comes in and you just kind of giggle to yourself. And it's you bring it upon yourself, and it's what I wished for. I love being busy. It's the energy for me. And I have to be dedicated. I have to be detailed. I have to make sure I do things correctly. I have to write shit down, do all the type of things that we talk about, being organized. Love getting up early and having a purpose, getting into it, but going, super well on all fronts in life and family, and work is super busy, and leading into a massive week again. And you too, bro, on the travel buzz, and then back home for the weekend.
Yeah, that's right, mate. So a bit of obviously a different schedule than I'm really used to, like being on the road, away for most of the week, back for the weekend, which makes it pretty exciting to get home and see the family again. But I am loving, obviously, taking on a new role, but then being able to maximize every hour of the day, because I have nothing else to think about other than just getting my work done, which means I feel like I've really been able to fast track kind of my I suppose, development in this new role and get up to speed quite quickly. And being the fact that I can't actually get into my territory to have any meetings means that it's been even more of the sort of admin and the back end stuff, which has been sick, mate. So I'm actually quite grateful for that. And then when everything opens up, mate, bang, game on, I'll be ready to rumble.
You are in doing the mahi early doors, eh? It's interesting, with COVID, especially the zero distractions, but in some cases it provides way more distractions, like especially if you're at home, you've got kids and everybody's trying to share spaces and time and energy. Sharing is difficult, but dedicated time in an office space, for you, this is a good time for you to be able to do that, as hard as it is to be away from your whānau. Short-term pain, short-term pain for long-term gain. I mean, you'll be up a lot closer to head office soon, hopefully, as restrictions hopefully ease, and a good time to say kia ora to our Auckland friends and those that are still in level 4, so over 30 days now, eh? And someone will be going, it's 33!
Yeah, mate.
33 days, 7 hours, 42 minutes, and 18 seconds.
Mate.
Wow. That's a lot.
Exactly right.
It's a lot. And remember why we're doing it. Remember why we are all making sacrifices. And saying that, it's good to get to the cafe, brother? Good to go have a little cheeky little coffee.
Well, it's quite, definitely, that's right. Just good to feel a little bit free, mate. I know that, it sort of makes you appreciate those little things a bit more when you get them all taken away from you, of course. Which Absolutely. I'm feeling a little bit, bro, at the moment, because, mate, I've broken myself the last week. in 2 different areas, mate. So now I'm going through the whole phase of realizing how good it is when you're not injured, and here I am with dual injuries.
Oh, doubled up. Was one not enough for you, mate? And I know how you love to excel. You just you thought, shit, why stop with one injury? Why not just double up?
I tell you what, mate, I blame COVID, because what happens is when I don't get to the gym, mate, when my body stops moving as much as it normally does, being that I'm an old rugby player, everything comes back out and starts going like, so you've got to keep the joints oiled up like an old car, mate. You leave it in the driveway for too long, mate, it's going to rust up and you won't be able to start it again. That's me. So anyway, I went back and I've been training and just did nothing really, just did some bench press and the shoulder tweaked out. It's been, at least I put my hand above my head now, but it was rough for a couple of days. And then yesterday, playing with Maddox and the rugby ball, I didn't even run or jump. I did some kind of weird step thing, and it felt like a little bit of the old cartilage went inside the old knee. The old, which I used to obviously have a lot of experience with, being that was my major knee issues back in rugby. Yeah. And that feeling came back, mate, and it's it didn't sleep very well. Feels a bit better today, but mate, what a shit show that's been.
It's horrible, especially if you've had injuries before, and if there've been significant injuries and you feel a tweak in that same place. And I know what it's like with I've had serious issues with my knees prior, and my back especially. I've got a bit of a twinge in my back actually, but you go straight back to that dark place that you were at before, and you remember all the rehab and all of the stuff that you couldn't do. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
At that moment.
The surgeries, bro. And the cleanups, you're like, please don't have to go back in. Please don't have to go back in.
Yeah. Power tools and all the cool stuff, and getting knocked out and waking up not knowing where the fuck you are with a whole lot of bits missing and some new bits. But it's this is the time that you need to be careful, and part of that is just trying to be consistent and moving as part of that schedule, because I think it's not necessarily exchanging like for like, but moving is just moving. Whatever you can do is success, whether it's walking or it doesn't have to be running. Lessen the impact, but do something, whatever you have the ability to do. If you don't have the ability to find weights, then find something heavy to pick up and put down, but do it carefully. Don't try and absolutely smash a hole in yourself. You've still got to keep front of mind your personal health. But fuck, horrible when because I'd imagine you're loading up the bench there. Someone comes over and asks you, do you want a hand with your squats? Because you've probably got 3-4 plates either side. And you're like, no, mate.
Mate, I'll be honest with you. I was actually only on about the 3rd set, and I go light because I don't go very heavy these days. And it's just one of those freak things, mate. I was already warm. I'd already done a bit of work, done some stuff, but just the way the old cookie crumbles sometimes, mate. That's the way it is. Sometimes. I used to laugh, actually, mate. We've got a guy that from the gym, super nice guy, hell of a good bloke, upper body carved out of absolute granite, and every day he was pushing those weights in the upper body. Obviously he skipped leg day, and it was a genetic thing, but we always used to joke with, if we were like interchangeable, my legs and his upper body would have been unstoppable. But I saw him in the gym once, and he was loading up the bar, and I'm thinking, he's about to do some squats, or and he picked it up and started arm curling it. He started doing arm curls. I'm like, okay, one day, Mr. Rigby. Mate, I saw that situation in the CrossFit gym, mate. One of my mates who's a bloody good coach, he's the man, and it was a squat day, and of course we were spotting each other. He was coaching. One of the girls did her squats and had to get the bar off her back, which happened to get stuck in the bottom, so we help her out. And then he starts bicep curling that weight that she failed to squat on. And then as soon as he racked it, he looked at me and he realized how much of a douchebag he was. He goes, oh man, what have I done? He just didn't realize it was so funny. No one was offended, but mate, just a funny sort of awareness thing where I was like, bro, that is such a dirtbag thing to do, bro.
Welcome to my life. I live in the corner of the gym with all the lightweights, and that's part of the challenge, when you're trying to when you are trying to start your journey or restart your journey. Even after injury, you go back and you're so consumed with what people think about you for lifting weights, it actually puts you off the experience. And take it from me, people, being a cyclist, it's not about upper body weight. It's about being as light and as lean as possible. And I can't think of a week that went by in the gym that I wasn't hassled by other instructors for the size of my arms. Thank you so much. But it's all relative to your to who's at the top of your sport. I think we talked about it before. You know, when you look at the top of cycling, the guys are 60 odd kgs and 5% body fat. So try carrying 100 kgs of shredded muscle up the Alps or up into the Swiss mountains. Cannot do. So it's all relative. But
yeah, bro, and it's like that whole, with everything these days, a lot of the answers of advice that people ask for, like what to do, what's the best training method, what's the best exercise, what's the best nutrition, the word that always follows is depends. It depends. There's so many different things. It's not blanket for everyone. Everyone's got different goals, bodies, injuries, everything. It's just all by kind, eh? So just depends, you know. So it's always good to follow up with that question, with that answer.
Yeah. And it is difficult, and we have talked long and hard, lengthy debates about comparison, how you go in, and you know, you start where you start, right? Your starting point is for you and you alone, and that's how it should be, not for anybody else. So always question your motives when you're going in. You know, remember, it is for you 100%, whether it's for your health or your strength, your well-being. And if it's the start of the journey, it's okay if you're lifting way down the other end of the rack, and you know, you can gaze at the rack, and that can inspire you. That can be your inspiration to slowly work your way up to it. But again, take your time, work your way up to it. I saw a very, very interesting podcast from Impact Theory, who's someone you put me on to. Along those lines, mate, about how to get better. And it applies to anything that we do. And you know, we can go right back to episode 1, and the first thing, obviously, mate, is show up. That is 100%. And we talk about the same thing. So I mean, what do you think some of the tips, bro, from your regard? Like if you're looking to improve, if you're looking to start your journey, we've taken that first step, we are showing up. What comes next for you? I mean, do you have an order? Do you have chaos theory? How does it work for you?
Yeah, bro. So like I always have a bit of a strategy when there's something that you really want to get better at, improve on. So I work through there's 4 or 5. So the way I used to coach this, there'd be a different sort of progression to how I work this. And number 1, the first stage of the progression would always be, you know, where are you now, which I called the audit. You know, like let's see where you are today. You know, if you want to be better at running 5K, well, we can't really tell if you're better or not unless we understand where you are today, right? So what is it? You know, so where are you today? Well, my 5K time is, 40 minutes. Okay, great. So that's your audit. Audit yourself, audit your performance, audit whatever it is. The next stage is like where you obviously, where do you want to go? So what's actually your goal, which I call the create stage. You know, like I want to run a 20-minute 5K. That is my target. That's my mission. And that's where I want to go. And then the next stage obviously is what I think is really important, and that's applying purpose. Why do you want to do that? Because remember those early mornings where you got to wake up at 3 a.m. and go for a run and you don't want to. You need the purpose to get you there. So you must understand that. The next stage, bro, is actually obviously how. How are we going to do this? What is the strategy? What's the game plan? Which is obviously the what I call the scheduling part. You know, the whole plan out your schedule. I'm going to run Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I'm going to do this. You get a coach, whatever it is. And then, bro, the next stage, which is so awesome, you said show up, because that's obviously number 1. After showing up, number 2, with all that in between there, is do the work. Because if you don't do the work, you're not going to get better. But yeah, and you kind of repeat that pattern. You know, once you get to the baseline again, you retest it. Are you where you want to be? What's next? And it's it's just, it's a really good way to sort of figure out what it is you want to do. And the game plan's the number 1, bro. Like, because like I think you talked about it, like for a lot of the people, showing up ends up being the easiest part. But now it's actually, what the hell am I supposed to do while I'm here? How do I do it? And that's the next part, eh?
Yeah, the audit is a really interesting thing, because you've got to be honest in that space. And it goes back to, are you really prepared to do the work to get to that goal? Because it depends what you look at comparison where you want to be. Are you really committed and prepared? Because the old thing is, why start if you're not prepared to finish, right? If you're not prepared to be consistent. A massive part of that is, and straight out of this impact theory, is you have to be prepared to fail on numerous occasions. It is part of the process. And the sooner you understand that, the better you are prepared to encounter that on the journey. Because if you're going through and every day is easy, where's the growth? If every day is easy, where is the challenge? Where is the elevation? Where is the inspiration? Is it a step closer, or is it just treading water? So I'm a big believer in, we have to accept we're going to fail and continue to fail. One thing I heard, which was great about Edison and the light bulb. Now it is written, as it is said, that Edison invented 10,000 iterations of the light bulb before we got to the light bulb that we see today. Now, he said none of those were failures, but the way he worded it was almost like there was a lesson in each of those, and each of those light bulbs were necessary. I'll find out what the exact terminology was used. But he said none of those 10,000 were failures. They were all part of the process of getting to, you've got 9,999, bingo, 10,000. And that's the celebration. 100%. So so go back to the audit. Are you prepared to do the mahi? It is the grind. It is the consistency. It is getting up on the shit days. It is making tough decisions, and sometimes you've got to make a decision just to step out rather than just continue to keep grinding. And that's a sensible approach, knowing to because tunnel vision can be a terrible thing in that space too, because you've got to take in all of your surroundings, all of the stimulus, all of the things in your life. And that way, when you get to your goal, you've actually carried those things with you instead of, I think we talked about it before, you get to the top and you're like, yeah, woo, and oh, yo, you can hear your own echo. All you can hear is your own echo, because you've literally isolated everybody and everything.
Everyone's sick of you.
Yeah, I must do this.
I really like the fail approach, bro. Like we do talk about it quite a bit, but it's like, and as kids, we failed at everything multiple times. You fell every time you stood up, you fell back on your face over and over and over and over and over again. You spoke a sentence, you mispronounced the word, but you never quit. I mean, we're wired to fail and keep going. You don't just fall over once from trying to walk and then decide never to walk ever again. You just keep on going. And I love that, bro. And I had a good chat with actually during the weekend at my new job. We're having a chat about some different positions and things that people were going ahead to do, and some things they wanted to try. And we discussed exactly that, because I said, look, someone needs to step up and give that a nudge, but why don't you just be really, really open in the fact that some of it may be out of your reach and you may just fail it. Like, you may fail this position and you may not be able to do this. But if you're open about failing, it means that you won't pretend you're not failing and hide it. You remember the old Band-Aids? Cover it with Band-Aids and pretend like I've got this sorted. But underneath, you're like, I'm so screwed. I don't know what to do, because you feel embarrassed or your ego's hurt. Whereas if you've already made the intention that, there's a good chance that, because by the tasks that need to be done, that you may just fail it, then you're more likely to be like, hey, team, as we talked about, I can't handle this. Like, I feel like I'm not going to be able to do this by myself, or I need some help, or what are some ideas? And that way it's a massive open book, bro, and you can work together. You're not hiding away, dealing with it all by yourself. You're asking for help. But permission to fail, is a great way just to take that leap and just go hard, and you just don't know what might happen, Exciting things can happen with that permission.
Yeah, accepting there's a part of the journey, like you say, that you may need to ask for help and say, fuck, I'm just not getting anywhere. It's not that I can't do this, but I'm trying so very hard, and that too can be part of the problem, right? I'm trying so very hard to accomplish, to do this. I'm doing everything in the book. Now, it may mean there are some minor adjustments that need to take place for you, and whether it's whether it's a competition or whether it's a working goal that you're trying to a paper that you're trying to complete, and you just got a mental block. Maybe there's something in there that just needs to be unlocked by asking or admitting to someone that, hey, I need help. I need help, because that's what friends are for, eh? Look around you and look at the network of people that you have in your life. Like, I'm blessed. There's so many, I guess, qualified via life and via experience and of course via qualifications, but some super smart, authentic, caring, kind people who will share knowledge. And if you do have it, then obviously, part of Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, also part of the culture, knowledge is a gift. Knowledge is a gift. So if you have it, please share it and allow people around you to grow. Don't keep shit like that a secret. But I love the journey. Right. As we say, we're long in the tooth, right? We've been here, we've done a few laps and we've experimented on ourselves and fallen flat. But that's part of the fun, overcoming the joy and overcoming that stuff.
Yeah, and I was going to say that if you do need help with these people with all this experience, like we talk about over, most people really want to share it. Like, they do want to share it, but they're not necessarily going to come up to you unsolicited today and be like, it's like being at the gym. I'm not very often, unless it's my class, but at a random gym that I'm just training at, you're not going to walk up and say, hey bro, I've got to give you a stack of feedback on your shitty squat. You don't do that. You don't just go up and give unsolicited coaching advice. But again, if someone comes up to you and asks, mate, it is all on. Of course, I would love to share lessons and share, mistakes and fixes and, how to identify faults, whatever it is. Doesn't matter how high someone is in their area either, eh, bro? It can be the highest person you've ever met, like someone you look
amazing.
At and go, whoa.
Amazing.
If you get access, they'll be, look, I'll buy you coffee if we can sit down and have a chat. And they'll be like, done. I've got 10 minutes spare tomorrow. I'd love to have a chat with you. It's just got to ask, eh? It's so good.
And that is a great leader to me. No matter of put all status aside, wanting people to grow and develop and encouraging that and giving over a part of yourself to be a part of that journey is super powerful. Like, fuck, it's powerful. And I think, it's way better to put yourself out there and fail, right, than to sit back and go, God, I wish I had, and live with #regrets. #no regrets. You don't want no regrets in your life. You don't want to go through the regret and say, I wish I would have done that. I applaud the effort and the energy it takes. And if I look at instructing in the gym, there are people that want to do it and people say, I could never do it. If it's something you feel passionate enough about to want to explore, and here's the word, explore, fucking do it. Because here's the thing, you will learn a lot about yourself. You will learn a lot about a deeper dive into your passion, into the history, into what makes you tick and what makes you want to do this. Now, you may find that things like gym instruction, it's unique and it may not be for you, but you have taken the opportunity to explore it and see. At least you've tested the waters, rather than just standing there and going, nah, fuck that, and then going, man, I wish I'd taken the punt. There's no failure in that space. There's so many amazing lessons. I think it takes so much bravery just to step up and be prepared to throw yourself out there, especially in front of peers, especially in front of friends, especially in front of people who are your role models, like stepping into a new team. You're like, fuck, okay, these guys are absolute legends. I just don't want to fuck that up. You put so much pressure on yourself and you go, look at the best players taking risks, taking chances, allowing their natural ability to take over, their authentic nature that got them to that space anyway, their passion and the intensity that comes with that. That's the cool shit. So yeah, if you want to do something, step it up.
All right.
Take a buck.
remember this motto. Do you remember? You've got to be in it to win it. Was that Lotto? Was that the Lotto saying or something?
Ooh, got to be in it to win it.
I can't remember what it was, but anyway, whatever it is, if you think about that whole like that's like someone sitting there and go like, oh man, I never win Lotto. I wish I'd win. And you go, oh, did you get it? Do you buy tickets? And you go, oh no, never. It's like,
yeah.
well,
Complaining about
that whole
complaining that someone won 12 million, and you're like, oh, fuck, someone got 12 million. Did you buy a ticket? Nah. Well,
never do.
Good on them. To any Lotto winners that are listening, I know a couple actually, legends of people. But yeah, bravo to you for taking a chance, for buying that ticket and
that's the thing.
paying off.
You can't expect to be better at something or to win something or to find anything unless you're willing to actually be in the game. You know what I mean? You can't play the game if you're not even playing, bro.
You've got to say that too, eh? The odds may be stacked against you, but there are still odds. There are still odds. Odds on one side, odds on the other. Doesn't matter how they are weighted, there's still a fucking chance. Still a chance. And if it's 1%, we're in. In it to win it, baby.
You've got more of a chance of winning it than the person who didn't play the game and didn't buy a ticket at all, right? You've got fucking shit ton more of a chance to win than that. But yeah, I think it's cool to look at it like that, where you just got to remember that if there's, or someone said, oh, my weight loss journey has been a complete failure, and then it's just, or whatever, it's still the question. Have you actually shown up? Have you actually done the work? Have you been consistent? Have you followed the game plan? And you're like, well, no, I didn't do anything. Well, done. Okay, sure. You got exactly what you worked for. That is exactly what you worked for is what you got.
Yeah, weight loss journey. We've all been there. Me for my sport, for cycling, right? And you for your bodybuilding. Man, it is tough. Getting nutrition right for you is tough. Following ticking boxes is not necessarily the way to do it, but getting advice and things that work for you. Experimentation, failure, and just dealing with the time that it takes. It's that instant fix. I want to step in and be shredded. Oh, by the way, it's going to take 16 weeks. What? How can I be? Is there a 3-day thing that I can do? Can I pay 10 times for 2 days? Is that how it works? Is that how shredding works? No, it's not. It's that old word that we use, mate.
Mate. Because and then they'll jump on like the whole like quick fix, like, oh, what if I take some like steroids or some kind of enhancement things? Like, yep, it's still gonna take you 16 weeks. You've still got to work hard. You've still got to do the work. You've still got to nutrition. Don't just magically stand there and be like, oh, like it doesn't work that way.
And I think we've gone back before this. Even the guys that do juice themselves up, look, they've still got to pick stuff up and put stuff down. There's still, the Mr. Olympias that are juiced to the absolute, and they're open about it now. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
they're open about their cycles and what they take, and the so-called TRT, which is a tame way. These guys are just absolutely juicing themselves up. So without lifting the weights, they'd just be angry, spotty men, right? Swollen, but the work that's involved in doing that, and I had this morbid fascination, and again, I can go back to it. We've chatted about it with the bodybuilders, and Justin asks me all the time, because I used to push weights a long time ago, considerably heavier, but I've got this fascination with the fact that they just put themselves through this stuff, pushing just, these superhuman weights, taking their body to the absolute extreme. I'm like, holy fuck, I don't get it, but I'm like, I have to watch it. I have to. It is amazing what people are prepared to do and how far you can take the human body. We talk about the Olympics. There's some pretty piss poor examples of people that have cheated their way to the top of the podium, but at a clean level still. The things that people put them through.
How good's the ones that you hear and they're like, oh mate, I'd look like that if I looked like that too if I took stacks of steroids. And it's like, no, you wouldn't. And the other one, I think it was Arnie. I think Arnie heard someone one day as he walked around, and they're like, "Oh, never want to look that big," and he's like, "Don't worry, you never will." It was someone, I don't know if it was Arnie, but such a good one, eh?
You know, it's just each to their own, I think. And whatever. Oh shit, that's well, me lighting. Sorry. You know, people will do whatever they feel they need to do in their chosen sport, their passion. People will always take everything to the extremes at the end of sport. You know, even cycling, we can talk about the history and the abuse of drugs at every end of the scale in the sport. But it's in every sport. It's inevitable that people will take it way too far. It's part of growth and development as humans, as we learn and we grow. You know, I'd like to think that there are still people that are racing clean and looking after themselves and being real rock star role models for the youth. You know, for the youth that doing the work, doing the mahi. I mean, some great examples. You look at the US Open for the tennis. An 18-year-old and a 19-year-old getting to the final of the US Open, one being 200-1 at the start of the tournament, the other being 100-1. Now, you would have made some money off those guys, but to see them actually thrive in that environment, you know, as a young person getting into the final and instantly becoming a millionaire. But it didn't happen overnight. Even these guys were, I think, you know, turning pro at 14 and 15 years old. The tens of thousands of tennis balls that they have hit, the countless sessions of coaching. And there's a lot of privilege that comes with a lot of privilege attached to tennis too, eh? So it is looked at pretty much a rich person's sport. So, you know, tennis are trying to open it up, making it more accessible, and it's going to be super, super challenging and super tough. But I love to see stories about young people coming through. Like any sport, it's tough. We see the top end, the multimillionaires making money hand over fist, but it's not like that for everybody. So yeah, what we should strive to do is be role models for everybody, regardless of where they're at in their life. Tennis is a great example, way beyond privilege, you know, taking tennis rackets to the streets and getting kids to hit balls. Providing courts and facilities is another massive challenge for them, you know, access to coaching, all of those types of things. It's yeah, man, that's a 10-hour podcast in itself, eh, bro?
Yeah. It's cool. And what we're talking about, like ways to get better, like you said, you're saying 10,000. Remember the old approach to mastery, they say 10,000 hours of craft, you know, of work on something to become a master. And obviously that means starting that journey pretty early if you want to get good at it early. So think about that. When you think about how good those tennis players are at that age, and their team, like how many hours of actual work have they been doing? Again,
or doing a shit ton of it.
Oh, so much work. Yeah, you can't just sit back and do like 30 minutes here and be like, oh, I'll be fine. Mate, it's going to be a lot of reps, a lot of work. Oh, it's awesome, man.
And that's, you know, if that's your idea of fun, fuck, go for it. And it is fun. It's not, it can be torturous at times, but again, that could be part of the fun. It's when you get to the back end of that. And we've reviewed it before, you know, you get to a point where you think, fuck, I'm out, I can't do it anymore, and here you are at 9,987 hours of mastery, and you've only got such a limited time. You forget about all the work you've done, all of the hurdles. It's only everything's come to a head at this moment, and that too, you know, progress will stall, things will happen. You can't help but be affected by everything around you in life as well, all of the variables. So, you know, you have to accept that there will be sidetracks again, bringing back that tunnel vision, that you've got to take into account that there are things evolving and revolving around you constantly and consistently. Those are an important part of the journey to consider as well. You know, you don't close yourself off. And in that too is opportunity, you know, there could be people circling you frantically that can be of help at some stage, and they're they're there for a reason. Like we say, the universe points you in the right direction. But yeah, be prepared, peeps. You want to get better. Obviously, front up. You've got to be consistent and persistent as hell. You've got to be sure, committed, as Cody said. Do that audit. Are you prepared to do the work? Are you prepared to do the work? Ask yourself, because if you're not, you need to find something else. Without a word of a lie.
Yeah.
You've got to make a commitment to say, yes, I am prepared to do the work. And if it doesn't go quite right, don't beat yourself up. There's always plan B, there's plan C. We can go right through to, once we get past Z like an Excel, A1.
That's right, bro. Yeah,
next column.
Yeah.
We just keep stacking them. There's always opportunities to learn from every little lesson. Every failure that's stacked every day is full of many little failures. And I love that stuff. It's problem solving. Like I say, I sell solutions, so problems to me are absolute gold. I love it. I love helping people, but also and it adjusts and adapts my mindset when approaching problems as well. We're just problem solvers. That's what we're here to do, right? And connect. And if our lessons have the ability to problem solve for someone else and help them out of a tight spot, yes, fist pump, in it to win it, baby.
Yeah, Bo. And so one of my morning journaling activities that I like put in, we might have talked about before, but those things when I'm doing things that I want to be really good at, and we talked about it. Obviously, we said show up. Remember the code. So you got the code, and that's show up, do the work, never give up, and then you've got trust the process. And then another one I like to add on top of it is leave no one behind. And that's like something that if we're in our groups and things that we're doing things, but you always just think about that progression. Am I showing up today? Did I show up? Was I actually there? Did I play a hand? Did I do the work, or did I piss around? Did I stay? Was I relentless? Did I stay in the game? Did I keep on going? And then at the end of the day, you've got to remember that if I continue with those three and trust the process, then I'll get to where I want to go. But if I mess things up and I fail on it and I don't, I just quit, or I just, show up but do nothing. That's why the whole, do something was like my whole motto for ages, do something, because you can show up a lot. You can show up a lot and still do nothing and still be useless and still might as well stay at home. So you've got to understand it's not just showing up. You've also still got to do the work and be effective,
Yeah, get in with a plan, because it can take, if you're going to the gym, it can take 20 minutes out of your workout by just not fluffing around. And that can also equate to, if you take that 20 minutes and add it, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, annually, how much more time have you got for the other cool things in life? That's the people around you. So remember, the people in your life too want you to be successful and want you to succeed in your goals, and they want you to goal set. It's important, right? The drive, the determination, you become the role model as well. So ask for feedback as well. Like I think, if and obviously, with the family here, you voice it by opening up in a conversation. And you'll get some feedback pretty quick, usually in a conversation. Are you really going to do that? Oh shit, well that would be cool. Just sound it out. And if you're keen about it, repeat it again, bring it up again in a conversation and see how it flies. And then the language, you can start to not manipulating the conversation at all, but start to talk about it more openly. And do you really, I'm seriously considering doing this. What do you think? And the right people will be on board and support you, or they will check you and say, look, where you're at, maybe here's a good idea, start here, do this.
I love
in terms of progression. So
well,
having honest people around you, as well as being honest with yourself. So the audit doesn't have to be, it's like trying to do your own accounts as a self-employed person. Fuck, nightmare. Get me out of here. Get an accountant.
And bro, on that one too, it's really good to be like, to make sure, like we all have these kind of mates that we know will be like your cheerleader the whole time. They may not question you, or they may not give you but they'll be your cheerleader. They're probably not the ones to go to all the time, because then whatever you say, they'll be like, oh yeah, bro. You want to have you want to have a couple of mates or people that are kind of like haters a little bit, or not haters, but ones who are like real, like will question your shit and make you explain it better. Okay, why? Why do you want to do it? And you're like, oh, because it sounds fun. Yeah, but really why? So you got a pressure test today, and that's like, I reckon and we all know when we want to hear the answer, go for it, and yes, you normally go to the people will say, go for it, yes. Because then straight away you're like, it's not, you won't ask for feedback from people who are going to give you bad feedback. You ask for the ones who will be like, no, everything's good, bro. Yeah, everything's still cool. Because you're like, oh, phew, that was lucky.
Yes, man.
Yeah, that's right. Versus you go up to that one person who like, oh shit, okay, I'm going to tell them, and I know they're going to break my balls over this idea. Here we go. Boom. And then it's like game on. So you got to be careful, eh?
And on the flip side of that, finding someone who just says, nah, mate, you've fucking got rocks in your head. Don't do it. So you're like, I'll show you. I'll show you. Yeah, here's my reasoning to show you. Hang on a second. That's not a good enough reason just to prove something to someone else. Do it.
Because you're a dick.
Yeah. I don't have to prove anything. I love it, bro. I just think the fact that you're out there talking about doing stuff and have a mindset to take challenges on is great. I think and talking about doing stuff and looking, I go on YouTube, and I've completely been inspired. Summer's coming to get back on to get back on the bike, to do some more miles, to get out with the mates, to chat more, to do more. Craving trips overseas, watching a lot about the Dolomites over in Italy, the riding over there. Saw some fantastic stuff in Spain. So I've been flicking messages to my mates saying Spain 2025, here we come. Same thing. 2025 Vuelta España. Get over there and just ride and do the things you love. But sow the seed. And continue.
Love it, bro.
Sow the seed. Don't let shit go. And of course, our catchphrase now is "Gotta be in it to win it."
Gotta be in it to win it. You gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe. That's how bad you want it, mate.
You gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe. Yeah, no, I did, man. Look, I love breathing. Big fan of it. Every day I do it. It's a habit of mine,
mate. Did I tell you the one I saw, bro? And it was like taking a breath. Yeah, taking one breath is basically starts the countdown to your death. But you have like 2 minutes to your death. But the thing is, you breathe again and reset it every time. Like every breath is a reset. And I was like, whoa, that's quite hard out. That was awesome.
The funny thing, and Eric the preacher is, I love the guy, right? He is out there, but he's helping so many people by just the reality check, the real way that he talks about it, the awesome nature of his motivation, and it's just that reality check. He's the same thing. You've got to want it. You've got to be prepared to work for it. You've got to be prepared to hustle. But that saying is his, right? If you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe. And then he got the t-shirts made, and it said, if you want to succeed as much as you want to breath, it said breath.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Oh. So the first cut of t-shirts that he did were all wrong. So he had to he had to get
so good.
So that's part of the journey, mate. But
love it.
That could be us, bro.
Yeah, my bro. I've got a little one of my little princesses coming in the room, and she's like, how long, Dad? I gotta show you my picture. But
nothing beats pictures.
Oh, bro, so good. Hey, bro, but amazing chats today, mate. I really needed this afternoon, to be honest.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah. Good vibe.
And everyone listening, thanks as always for being part of the D.M.C family. And keep listening, keep supporting, and we'll keep delivering, bro?
Yeah, bro. I mean, we're obviously things are getting super busy for us, and that's that's part of the fun for us, just showing you that we can still operate and be there for each other, which is the main thing. Just checking in. Keeping the content raw and real for us, for you guys, again, catching up with Cody, miss the chats, you're super busy. Every day we would communicate, and now you're up there doing something you're really passionate about, which I'm just in awe of and super happy for you, bro. But we're going to celebrate that when level one in the sun. That's what we're all going to celebrate, because the boys are going to go up to the 09. We should just organise an event where we just catch up somewhere and have a few quiets when levels permit. But look after each other, be kind to each other, friends, fam in the 09 or around the Auckland region. Be strong. Kia kaha. We're all with you. We're all in this together. We love you. Thank you so much for the support. That is episode number 29 of the D.M.C podcast, and peace.